Okay, the most interesting NBA conversation that you need to be aware of, which superstar will add to their resume going forward? The season, it is winding down, which means Giannis, he might be able to continue to build on his resume. How about Embiid? I'm going to tell you the 5 NBA superstars that would benefit most from a title. At number 5, it's very simple for me. How about Joel Embiid? He's been talking about trusting the process for nearly a decade now. Joel Embiid has. All he's been saying, trusting the process. The process has led the Sixers nowhere. It has been decades, and I mean decades since they won a title. If Embiid can bring a title back to the 76ers, that would finally cement the process that he started a decade ago. At number 4, Kevin Durant. The reason Kevin Durant is on the list at all is because some people, like myself, still doubt him. In the event KD can win a title with the Suns, to some degree, to some minds, it's different than his title with the Warriors. That's not joining a 73-win team. That's joining a team that wasn't even the 1 seed. If KD can win a title with the Suns, it would change the narrative around him. He would benefit 4th most from winning a title. At number 3, it is a player that would hop Kevin Durant if he did win a title. Giannis Antetokounmpo. Giannis, if he wins a title, 2 NBA Finals MVPs, because I'm assuming he'd win MVP as well. If he wins a title, then now he would have 2 regular season MVPs. Only 10 players in the history of the National Basketball Association have 2 NBA Finals plus MVPs plus 2 regular season MVPs. Giannis would be the 3rd biggest beneficiary from winning a title this season. At number 2, Steph Curry. Some people have already said that Steph should be the greatest point guard of all time. I dare not say that. Not yet, at least. How about Magic Johnson? Y'all better watch yourself. But if Steph does get to 5 NBA championships, that would tie the 5 that Magic Johnson has. Now, you would be able to utter those 2 in the same conversation if you're not already. And at number 1, it's very simple for me. LeBron James. He's chasing 1 man, 1 number, in 6. That is Michael Jordan. But you can't get to 6 unless you get to 5. If LeBron James wins a title this season, then that would help close that gap, which seems like the great chasm which cannot be closed. Top 5 beneficiary superstars from winning a title this season. Embiid, KD, Giannis, Steph, and the King. Let's head to the desk because I want to hear people's thoughts and where they stand on this. Slick Rick, who would benefit the most from a title this season? You got any issues?
I always enjoy taking a trip to the land of Acho. You hear all the explanations as to why certain things are, and I know that they all make sense, but they are very much your orientation, and I enjoy it. It's just different than mine. Number 1, well, I have a top 5 list.
Okay.
But number 1 is Nikola Jokic. Just because of the MVPs that he's won, he is looking to be confirmed for all that he has done in the past. Winning a championship would do that. It would validate everything else that he's done. My first 4 are all guys that would be a first-time champion. Chris Paul, number 4. Jason Tatum, number 3. Joel Embiid, number 2, and Jokic, number 1. And I am going to split the difference between Steph Curry and LeBron James at number 5, because I believe that for both of them, for different reasons, it would take them, it would elevate them. I've said it before, with KD, winning another championship with Phoenix, he doesn't have anything more to prove to me. And because they are good, and he's good, them winning another championship just compared to these others, does it elevate him? Yes. Does it elevate him more than it would elevate any of these guys? These guys would all, especially the first 4, would all be validated by winning their first ring. We would look at them in a completely different light.
Joy, here's why I have Jokic as my first out, because I think he would get the least juice out of the squeeze of winning a title. If Embiid wins a title, everybody and their mama gonna know. He doing every media interview, he tweeting at every celebrity, everybody is going to know. But if the Joker wins a title, that'll fall on deaf ears. You know, Jokic is not naturally a big presence.
Right.
So while he would, to your point, have the 2 NBA MVPs, if not 3, along with having a title, I don't think that the world at large would care, because Embiid is just so much better at self-promotion. That is truly my reason for saying Embiid would benefit more than the Joker, albeit to true basketball minds, I agree with you. Joy, what do you say?
So you're kind of saying we would benefit more from Embiid winning a championship than if Jokic did. I got to agree with Slick. When you're all those guys that you mentioned outside of Embiid have a championship. So you can't take that away from them. So while it would maybe elevate them, I think the LeBron thing is very interesting. I mean, that's a movie in itself. Yeah. All of those things are very interesting. If you're talking about who's going to benefit the most, it's got to be Embiid or Jokic, and I'm going to go with Embiid. I think that it would finally, first of all, I mean, Philly going to go nuts.
Crazy.
It's going to be a big story, as you said, but it will also really validate everything that's gone on with that team. And I mean, how many renditions of that process and how many stories have we discussed over this decade plus of the process that would then finally be answered. So where I feel like the storyline isn't as long for Jokic as it is for Embiid, I think that's why he would benefit more.
But, Shady, here's my thought process, and you know Embiid probably well personally, and obviously your relationship with Philly is, if Embiid wins the title, what would be the potential ceiling of his career, assuming he gets that one title? Like, call it Dirk, and maybe if he stays in Philly for another 6-7 years, wins a title, wins an MVP again. I obviously follow Dirk's career well. But if Steph wins a title, now you got to talk about him and Magic as both having 5. If Giannis wins a title, now he got to jump Akeem because Akeem got 2 titles, but Akeem may have 2 regular season MVPs. Yeah. Like if LeBron wins a title, now he 1 title behind Jordan. Those are such substantial leaps and bounds as opposed to if Embiid wins a title, he got 1. But I just don't know that 1 would mean as much as those other ones. Who would gain the most? What superstar?
I'm going with Kevin Durant. I think Kevin Durant doesn't get enough credit for being so great, for being a player that we haven't seen ever, right? I look at Kevin Durant, like, they talk about, oh, well, he wasn't driving the bus, right? And he played with the Warriors. They were a great team. But the Suns, they were like the 5th seed when he got there, right? Or 5th, 6th seed, something like that. And they're not a great team. When I look at it, I don't see no superstar team. I see Booker. I see DeAndre Ayton, that's a solid player. Not a superstar, solid player. Look at Chris Paul. He's older. He's not really the same. He's still solid, but not the same. But when you see Kevin Durant, he makes that team good because it's him, right? So now if he goes to that team and brings him a championship, first of all, Phoenix has never won anything. Even with Charles Barkley winning MVP, right? 93, is that right?
94, I believe.
Yeah, 93 won MVP and went to the finals.
No championship. So I just feel like if Kevin Durant can win this championship, hopefully he does, right? Them in the Warriors or the Sixers. I just think that he puts him in a different category. He puts him in there with the Kobes, the Jordans, the Magics, the Currys, right? This at the table.
There is that element of bringing a championship to a franchise that has never had one that certainly elevates that. And just from a personal standpoint, because we know the battle between KD and Charles, KD would be able to say,
But it's actually more than Charles, though. Like,
no, understood.
You know what I'm saying?
Understood.
Yeah,
but I'm just thinking how delicious that would be for KD in his back and forth with Charles to be able to say, I brought something to Phoenix that you never did. But that's why I also have Jokic at the top ahead of Embiid, because Philadelphia has won a championship. It's been some time now.
It's been a long time.
It's
been so long that
some people forget.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yes.
Like, I was going to ask you.
But Denver is never.
I was going to bring that up, though, Slick. Like, to me, don't you think there's kind of a statute of limitations on enjoyment of a chip? Like, Giannis brought the Bucks a chip. Prior to that chip, wasn't it 75, 76? With, like, Kareem before he went to the Lakers?
The Knicks fans are still talking about themselves being champions from 70 and 73.
Think about the Warriors. Before the Warriors won a chip, I don't know. Wasn't it, Wilt? Like, if they even won
it was
Talk to me.
Rick Barry.
Either way, you had 2 ums. You gave me 2 ums, and you from the Bay.
Yeah.
So clearly, like, it ain't recent enough to eliminate one. It's a long time ago. So all of these players, truth be told, in my mind, have done to some degree what y'all talking about. LeBron brought Cleveland a chip. Steph, Golden State, long time. Giannis, Bucks. KD is the one, to Shady's point. He got to do it, and then Embiid, he's got to do it. Joy, your answer was Embiid. Why Embiid over the likes of the Joker or a Tatum or even a Booker?
Well, Tatum, I think it does have a little bit to do with it being the Celtics. Like, anytime the Celtics or the Lakers win a championship, it's not going to have the same zing as a team that hasn't won in 30, 40 years. You know, I mean, these are the most winning franchises in the league. So it would be amazing, but it's kind of like No, the Celtics. Which one? I can't see
Right.
it over all the 20 other ones you got out there.
Which one was ours?
Right. So I think it would be amazing for him, but there is the element of the team. I think I do agree with you on KD. I personally don't think KD has anything. I mean, I don't feel like he has anything more to prove.
We are probably the exception on that, too. I think maybe if we were thinking about the world at large.
Yeah, I don't like to think about what other people think, though. But that's why I agree with Shady. Like, there are people that think that way.
Yeah.
There are people that feel like he has something more to prove, and that would really put him into. I think it would be a conversation ender if he won, particularly with the Suns who have never won anything.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I got one more thought. Sorry, I got one more thought before I gotta go. Slick, what room? I'm thinking about this as people entering different rooms. That's how I made my list. Is Steph Curry enters a room of Magic Johnson. Giannis enters a room of a top 10 player all time. Embiid could enter the room of a top 25 player. I'm thinking about guys entering rooms. What room does KD enter that he's not already in by winning a chip? Because Bron's already in the room with Jordan, but now it's kind of like, all right, y'all, shut up. Like, stop. What rooms are being entered?
That's a great question, because as I look at your list, I think what the difference between the way I was looking at it and the way you looked at it is you already have the guys who are beyond the velvet rope.
Yes.
And I'm looking at guys who would be allowed into the club. You're already in the bottle section, which is kind of appropriate for where we are. Right?
I would say it would be the space that LeBron was in after he won the Cleveland championship.
Gotcha.
Because so many people hated the Miami situation. It wasn't as bad as KD with the Warriors because the Heat weren't as good when LeBron got there, but they hated the big three. They hated him with the Heat. They hated him as a villain. And after he won the championship in Cleveland, the whole narrative changed. So I think he would be in whatever room that was.
What she said.
Whatever. So neither of y'all getting bottles. Both of y'all at the Velvet.
We got our own table. Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak, and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.